How's it going, everybody? Brian Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sunday 3 Pacific 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is a fun Friday here on the show. Fun Friday. We got no shows to review, although we could talk a little bit about the TNA Impact show from last night. There are new champions after last night's show. We'll tell you about that. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about as it pertains to the upcoming NXT versus TNA Showdown show on Tuesday. There's going to be more things added to the show, and it may not be, I'm sure it's not going to be, but it's not looking like it's going to be the last NXT versus TNA event. So we'll tell you about that today. Tonight is also Smackdown. And unless I have missed some stuff, which is possible, we only have one match announced for SmackDown tonight. One thing announced for the show, which I find hard to believe. Perhaps I'm missing something. We have a full Collision lineup, which we should because it's been taped. So we'll go over that as well. And then we'll talk about the Showdown and Title Tuesday head-to-head battle. Hulk Hogan's having a trail named after him. You'll never guess what it's called. We got to talk about ratings, and not really any particular show, but there's a change. There's a big change in the way that television and Nielsen are measuring ratings. And so everything has changed. And so basically, if you want to do any comparisons from this year to last year, or even this week to like last week, I think they pretty much have to be all thrown out the window, and we got to start over as of this week because they've changed the way they measure things, and it's really weird. We've also got some more on TNA, the television deal, Joe Hendry, Leon Slater, and plenty more. Lance Storm joins us after the break. Stick around, everybody. Wrestling Observer Live. Right in the show, Brian Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Fun Friday, and people are already mad about ratings. This guy said, you said the numbers need to be thrown out the window after AEW went to Max, and here we are still comparing the ratings to NXT. Hey, listen, there's been a big change, okay, in how the ratings are determined. But what this means is you can still compare two TV shows to each other currently. You can't compare a current show to how the show did a week ago. So, for example, the NXT show this week did 572,000 viewers and a .10, okay? Now, if you compare this to 2 weeks ago, this is horrible. You would go, oh my God, people have stopped watching the show. The Collision rating was even, it was even more crazy. But anyway, the point of this is, so I don't even really know how to explain this, so I'm not going to bother, but they used to do it the way Nielsen always did it, which is you've got these set-top boxes and you X number of people and you extrapolate it to the blah, blah, blah. So that was called, I believe, big data was the way they used to do it, big data. They have now added big data plus panel. And actually, I think previously it was panel only. So now it is big data plus panel. So big data, I guess, means additional data that they have. None of this really matters other than this was something, I guess the NFL felt that they weren't being fairly rated. The NFL, of all things, okay? The most watched thing of anything on television. So everything has changed to big data plus panel. And that means, and it's weird because at this point, like it's just, a lot of shows on television, now that we're doing big data plus panel, actually are showing that they have more viewers than they did before. Other shows are showing that they have fewer viewers than they did before. And it's not exactly clear why. You would think that if you made this big change, like if X number of shows went up, like they would all go up. But certain shows are capitalizing off this. They seem to have more viewers in a week, and other shows seem to have less viewers in a week. For whatever reason, all the wrestling shows, AEW, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, I think actually Collision was one of them that actually I think went up. But everything else is down quite a bit from the week prior. So there's a theory that some of the shows that are watched by younger viewers, for whatever reason, are lower, and shows that are watched by older people, which in fact would be, there's a lot of older viewers of the NFL, would somehow be up. But anyway, the point of this is, if you're looking at all the numbers this week and you're like, oh my God, people hated the NXT invasion and they hated that Dynamite, it has nothing to do with that. It is a change in the way that things are being measured, and it's going to take a while to figure out what is going on. But anyway, don't use that to make any arguments this week, is my point. So, now if you want to compare how did Dynamite do compared to NXT Tuesday next week, you can do that. They're both going to be measured the exact same way. But you can't say, oh my God, Collision did a .05 this week. It's dying. I mean, it's not doing well, but that's a ratings change.
So basically a gigantic billion-dollar entity, the NFL, put pressure on the ratings people, and they are now producing better ratings, and other people are having lower ratings.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing how this works.
We didn't like those numbers. Throw them out and find better ones for us.
Yes. Now, should mention, I'm not amplifying the tribalism. I'm telling you exactly what's going on. This has nothing to do with any side. It's like everybody's numbers. Last thing, don't make me get started on you. It's supposed to be Fun Friday. Now, I was wrong about SmackDown. There are 4 things announced. So it's Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, which is a big match. I anticipate no finish, if I had to make a guess. Sami Zayn will do another United States Open Challenge. Tiffany Stratton looks ahead to Crown Jewel. Okay. And Damian Priest will be in action.
So Tiffany's still not bumping?
No. She wrestled last week.
Oh, did she? Oh, that's good.
Yes. They had that, remember the three-way? That horrific three-way?
Ah, yes. That was after the moonsault bang in her head.
Yeah. She should have stayed uncleared. Now, I am not reporting this. Do you guys hear me? I'm not reporting this. Okay? All right. I am reporting this, but I'm not reporting what I'm predicting. So I was looking around today, and there's a show, Rev Pro in London this weekend, and they have an event on Sunday. And TNA X Division champion Leon Slater was scheduled to be facing Luke Jacobs on the show. And today, they announced Slater is off the show. A scheduling change is the reason he is unable to compete. Due to a scheduling change, Leon Slater's had to withdraw from this Sunday's Live in London. Luke Jacobs will now step up to take on a mystery opponent. So maybe he was going to... Well, anyway, the point is, he was on the show, now he's off. Okay? So, I was thinking about this, they're not taking him off the show because of the NXT show on Tuesday, because we've known he's going to be on the show for a while. Why would they have just announced that today? So I believe, I am not reporting this because I don't know everybody. I think he's Sami Zayn's Open Challenge opponent tonight. Because last week, Sami did the Open Challenge, and Javon accepted. Javon is facing Leon Slater at Bound for Glory. Javon and Leon Slater are on opposite sides on the show Tuesday. They tag together. They're linked. And since last week Sami faced Javon, I believe that tonight Sami Zayn is going to be facing Leon Slater. We shall see. But I can't think of what else the scheduling change would be. What happened to you?
My ring light is going out.
Okay, that was really weird. I'm the only one that could see that stuff, but I wish you all could have seen it, because you went up in a puff of smoke, it looked like.
Yes, my ring light got unplugged briefly.
I thought you spontaneously combusted.
Yes, the news of a TNA wrestler potentially on SmackDown. I disagree with you, but could happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I just, as yet, I don't think, other than, I think, the Rumble, they've never had a TNA wrestler on a main roster show. So.
I guess we'll see.
We shall.
Makes me want to put money down on it, like Nick Jackson. Now I'm a gambler.
All your money?
All right. This person here says, ask Lance to explain the NXT versus TNA teams. That's a fun Friday topic.
Yeah, it is.
Didn't you
it?
say there was no chance that Kalani was going to be on the, I can't even remember now, TNA team?
I believe my exact quote was, that would make no sense, and I stand by that.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. And there's clearly more to come in this story, but we're going to get to that after the break. I want to make sure we mention here that the state of Florida is honoring Hulk Hogan by naming a portion of land after the late pro wrestler. Maybe Kiana James can buy that land. We haven't followed up on that storyline. I've been waiting for 4 years now.
By the university property?
I'm still bitter.
Or the bar or whatever the heck it was?
It was. Well, she wanted the bar and also to buy the Chase U land to shut it down. On Friday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and members of the Hogan family made an appearance at Hogan's Hangout Restaurant in Clearwater to announce that part of the Pinellas Trail is being renamed. Are you ready for this? The Hulk Hogan Trail. Makes sense. Hogan's wife, Sky, Nick's wife, Tana, and Jimmy Hart were among those who attended the announcement. It's a 2-mile stretch between Oak Avenue and Coronado Drive. There will be red and yellow signs celebrating Hogan. And also, and I actually like this, I wish they had these more around here, exercise stations, like pull-up bars and such. So you can develop 24-inch pythons on Hulk Hogan Trail. Jimmy Hart said it was a great day. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back in the show, Brian Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm here for Fun Friday. Sam Zig 13666 asks, are people required to exaggerate and lie on this trail? I don't think so, but the reality is a trail is only 500 yards, but they're claiming 2 miles. I don't know if it said that in the story or not.
Perfect.
TNA President Carlos Silva, I hear that guy looks like Shawn Michaels.
He does.
That's what I said, and I was ridiculed for it. And then, I think you've said that. And then there was another guy from NXT yesterday that was like, he does. He looks exactly like Shawn Michaels. I even heard from one guy. Anyway, Silva said he's very excited about the potential new TV home. He said they are now in the middle of active negotiations for a new media rights deal. Did not name the partner, but he expressed excitement over where TNA could land. This is all so vague.
Carlos is a positive guy.
He sounds like it. The good news is the process has started. We're working through the details. I feel really good about it. I'm very excited about the partner. I think they're excited about us. Well, I hope so. That's why it feels good. But like everything, we just kind of got to get through the paperwork, understand some sort of final deal terms and certain things where there's going to be a little push and pull from both sides. So anyway, they're negotiating is what he's trying to say here. He says he doesn't think it's going to take much longer. He thinks we're pretty close. And he's excited. So there you go. TNA airs on Access TV right now, as well as TNA Plus. And they just did TV last night, and we got new women's tag team champions, knockouts. What happened, Lance?
The Inspiration defeated the Elegance brand and captured the TNA Knockouts title. It's their second time holding the titles, and they will be representing TNA at Showdown. I get the name right.
What the heck's going on with this Elegance brand? Ash is gone. These two lost their tag team titles.
Well, maybe when you lose your leader, you're not in the best mental state and didn't have their best night. Maybe they will regroup after the loss of their leader.
Been a rough week.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Collision is tomorrow. This is the lineup. Statlander and Tony Storm go face-to-face. Eddie Kingston faces Dralistico. Kevin Knight faces either Dax or Cash. Anyone want to guess? I guess Dax. Yeah.
It's him like 95% of the time, isn't it?
Roosh and Sammy versus Shane, Stetson, and Cha-Cha Charlie in an... Let me just read this one more time, just so we know. ROH Tag Team Champions Roosh and Sammy Guevara face Shane, Stetson, and Cha-Cha Charlie in a non-title match. Just so you guys know.
Bro better be wearing a cowboy hat.
Takeshita and Fletcher and Alexander versus Johnny TV and Eminem Collection, MXM. Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly versus the Don Callis family. And Jamie Hayter versus Anna Jay.
Can you narrow it down a bit better with the Don Callis family? There's a lot of options there.
Rocky Romero, Lance Archer, and Hechicero.
Thank you.
I just threw three of them out there. That's actually the three. And then Monday on Raw, we got Becky and Maxine Dupree, Lyra and Roxanne, and CM Punk returns. You know, I saw on Twitter some guy was really mad at me, said I watched the show and didn't pay attention because I said there was only one title match for
Title Tuesday,
and I don't know what he's so mad about. There's only one title match so far. It's Mercedes against somebody from Florida for the TBS title. They have not announced that Brodito is defending the titles against Okada and Takeshi. It was not once was it stated on the show it was for the titles. Not one time.
That's why when I texted you, I pointed out it's Title Tuesday, not Title Match Tuesday. There's just a bunch of blokes with titles on the show.
I guess. The Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate in a street fight, that's not for a title. So, get mad at me all you want. If you want to be mad at somebody, get mad at the place that didn't announce any matches except for the one. All right. What else do we have here? Joe Hendry. He claims he will be part of Tuesday's Showdown special despite not being on the team. He says he wasn't chosen by Mike Santana because Santana does not know where his true loyalties lie. But we certainly know where Kalani's loyalties lie. They must lie with TNA and not NXT. So, Jordan Grace has also claimed she was very frustrated about what happened. And so, I mean, there's a few things, obviously, that could happen. Number one, they could end up on the teams. We could do 5-on-5. I think that's unlikely. They could replace somebody currently on one of the teams.
Or my prediction.
Or your prediction is what?
Guest referees.
Or they
people
could be
with 1 foot in each side, a history with both companies. They are the Law and Order that will call it down the middle, Daddy. Again, I have no knowledge. I'm strictly guessing.
Well, here's the thing also. Let's say that they're going to be guest referees, Lance. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you announce that at the beginning of the show? Would you not want to announce that in advance? I guess you could announce it on social media. But maybe old Leon Slater could face Sami Zayn tonight. Old Big Schmoz does a run-in. And then we have an announcement that on this special show on Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see. I actually don't envision them pushing it very hard on SmackDown, but you never know. So we'll see what they end up doing with them. They could also just show up and interfere in matches. That's also a possibility. I mean, we can't have Survivor Series without some interference, especially if NXT people are going to be pinning WWE people.
And you can literally just say his name and he will appear.
That is true. I've never tried that here on this show.
Well, you've said his name and he's not here, so...
That's true.
Something's up.
This person thinks Kalani is going to defect. No, I think Kalani is going... guys, the way the teams are set up... Let me explain this, okay? I thought I made this clear. Maybe not on this show. There are 4 matches on Showdown, okay? 4. I can't say for sure, but my presumption is they're going to go 50-50, okay? So, you've got 2 championship matches. You got the Hardys... and you got Dark State. And you've got Ethan Page against Mustafa Ali. So how do we 50-50 those? Well, the NXT tag team titles can go to the Hardys. The Hardys are they really the most famous for their TNA run or for their AEW run? They are most famous for their WWF/W. They're seen by fans as WWE future Hall of Famers.
Exactly.
They can win the tag team titles. So they win that title match. That's NXT winning one match, okay? Then Ethan Page obviously beats Mustafa Ali. So now we have 1-1. Now you got two matches, okay? Listen, I know Lance is here. He can disagree or he can keep quiet. But if you've been watching the show, I'm going to tell you what's going on here. NXT always gets a leg up in one way or the other, okay? So, when I look at these two teams, for the men, you have an NXT team with Ricky Saints, Trick Williams, Miles, and Javon, all NXT guys. And you got a TNA team with all TNA wrestlers. Mike Santana is a TNA wrestler. Frankie is a TNA wrestler. Moose, a TNA wrestler. None of these people have been under contract with WWE ever. They're losing, okay? Team NXT wins that one. Well, now you got to even it up. That's why I think they did the team that they did. Team TNA is an NXT wrestler, 2 former NXT and main roster wrestlers, and an NXT wrestler was fired like 3 weeks ago or whatever. So, that's it. It's 2-2. The TNA team is really, if we're being honest here, a WWE team. And so they can beat Team NXT. And now everything is evened up. And so, no. My point is, Kalani doesn't need to defect. Her team's going to win. So there you go. And I guess Kazarian did work a WWE show in 2004 on SmackDown. I don't think he was signed, though. I said none of them have been signed.
He was briefly signed to OVW in like 2005.
All right, so one guy back in 2005. That doesn't change my argument in any way.
Television.
I'm sorry. So there you go.
I'm curious who they think Kalani would defect to.
Well, she's an NXT talent, so she would turn on her
She's
team.
already on Team TNA. Isn't that a defection?
Well, it is. She's already defected.
She's going to defect
She
back?
would be undefect. That's right. She would undefect back to where she's supposed to be. NXT is going to hold a special television episode in New York City next month. November 18th, the theater at Madison Square Garden. The capacity is listed as 5,570. They held Roadblock in the theater this past March. And this will be the day after Raw runs the actual MSG. Not the theater.
That theater looks cool.
It'll be built around John Cena's last ever WWE appearance in New York before he retires. So, press release has Ricky Saints, JC Jane, Ethan Page, Trick Williams, and Sol Ruka appearing. And there is a graphic which includes Obafemi. So, as far as we know, Obafemi is not being called up. But he could be called up at any time. If that makes any sense. Back in a moment, we're going to take phone calls, questions, emails, and more. Wrestling Observer Live. All right. Back on the show. Brian Alvarez here. Lance Storm. Lance, by the way, has volunteered to take Vinny's place on the Brian and Vinny show this coming Sunday. We'll be talking Collision and SmackDown. Lance actually can't get Collision, but he can get SmackDown. So we'll talk about Leon Slater versus Sami Zayn. Oh, man, that's actually a good show. You'll either get it or I will. One or the other. All right. It's Fun Friday, so we're going to take your feedback here. Got all the news done. So if you want to call us, the phone number is 618-762-3275. That is 618-762-3275. If you're out of the country, you can use the international web browser line, which is callinstudio.com/show/WOL for Observer Live. callinstudio.com/show/WOL. Text me, 425-780-7566. Email me, f4wonline@gmail.com. Let's get going here. This person says, wait, did Rush replace Dustin as one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions? That's actually a great question. Anyone have the answer to that? What is going on here? It did say a non-title match, so I guess we'll find out that one soon enough.
Because Dustin held the tag and the trios in Ring of Honor?
Yes.
And obviously he's out.
Yes. This person said they did have Joe Hendry at WrestleMania, so Leon Slater is definitely possible. Now, granted, that was WrestleMania. Although I think Joe's appeared on WWE television, has he not?
I have no idea.
All right, let's go to the phones. You are on the air. Who is this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, y'all. Brandon here from Portsmouth, Virginia. Happy Fun Friday, everyone.
I just read 2 of your emails. Now you're calling.
I'm taking over, bro.
You're all over the show.
Portsmouth show. I'm all over the place, man. I should be working, but I'll get back to work after this question. My question is for Title Tuesday with Mercedes defending against the mystery opponent. If the mystery opponent defeats her, would that be either lame because she's had such a long title reign and it just ends like that, or would this be a good way to build a new star in that women's division?
Well, I want to thank you very much for the call. So here's the thing. If they're going to bring in Dakota Kai and they're going to push her really hard, then, yeah, you could do a big surprise and she wins one of the titles. To me, it just doesn't seem like, I don't know. I'm not into this this 9-title thing. I know some people think it's really cool and everything. I know people like belts. But this is not like the Ultimo Dragon reign, where these were the most prestigious junior titles on earth from every major company. It's like, I don't even think people can name 7 of the titles she has. So it's like she's just walking around with all these belts, and because the vast majority of them are meaningless, losing one of them to me is just sort of like, I don't know, man. I guess it would be, I don't think it's going to happen. Let's just put it that way.
I think also, too, like, they've mentioned she wants to go after the tag to break a record. It's like, there's a story whether she wins the tag or not. It would be a waste, I think, to have her just drop the biggest one of the bunch.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they are pushing that 10-belt thing. But that's kind of another one where it's like...
It drives me crazy because the Owen Hart belt isn't a title. It can't be defended. No one else that ever won it walks around with it and claims it's a championship. It's a trophy for winning a tournament. It's not an actual title. But they're counting it. Drives me nuts because I have a cyborg brain.
This person says, once you bring in Izzy to lose and then Dakota debuts after. Well, I suppose you could do that, but then it's kind of silly that Dakota didn't just, like, take Izzy's spot. Why didn't she just come out first? I don't know. Let's see.
Or it'll just be some random person we don't know that'll lose.
Yeah. Bert says, I don't know what that one even is. Who else do you think will join the Don Callis family? It's become quite the running gag on the internet regarding how preposterously big his faction is. It is ridiculous. I think, I talked about this yesterday. I think that when you have a faction that big, I mean, it needs credibility. Otherwise, it's just, to me, like a guy who decided he was going to manage most of the mid-card for some reason. I think Kyle Fletcher needs to beat Hangman for the title. I don't think it needs to be, like, imminently. I know they do longer title reigns, but I think that the Don Callis family, like, if they're going to do this top heel group, gigantic faction, all of these evildoers, like, they got to succeed and get some real heat. Because right now, it's like the heat is Don Callis doing promos, but they're not really, like, getting a lot of heat other than just Don's promos. I think they need some actual heat. So, like, Don, you know, he's the mouthpiece. He's this horrible person. Takeshita gets the IWGP title. And then Kyle Fletcher gets the AEW title. You know, somehow they end up with maybe the tag belts at some point. Like, make it a big-time faction. And then you can beat guys, and they've always got credibility after that. I think right now it just... You don't want it to be the NWO when there were, like, 85 randos in it. You know? You want it to be something. So that's what I think.
Yeah, and going back, Dakota Kai's from New Zealand. How would she be from Florida?
Well, she lives there now.
But she's from New Zealand.
I don't know, man. I don't know where Izzy was born. But she's from Florida because she always goes to those NXT shows. So,
Well, Izzy might be, but Dakota Kai's not.
all right, let's go to the phones. Munashe's on the phone, a regular caller on Fun Friday from Zimbabwe.
So he's not challenging Mercedes.
No, he's not from Florida. Munashe, what's going on?
Sorry, I can't challenge Mercedes next week with you guys. Maybe in another lifetime. How you guys doing?
Good. What's happening?
Good to hear. So, I've been sitting on this question for the last 2.5 weeks, and I think this will suit both you and Lance, especially since you like mystery and spooky stuff. Shout out to After Dark. So, my question for this awesome Fun Friday is, which wrestlers, regardless of promotion, would you put in a Scooby-Doo themed faction?
A Scooby-Doo themed faction. All right. I want to thank you very much for the call. I love these calls where, like, I got to think of something on the spur of the moment.
I'm picking Santino right out of the gate.
I think Matt Riddle needs to be there. He's Shaggy. And then Rick Steiner's got to be Scooby-Doo. And then we got to have some lovely lass to play, was it Daphne? I don't remember all these
I don't know
characters.
which one was which. There was two women.
There was Daphne and then the other one with glasses.
Thelma or
Thelma. Is it Thelma or Zelma? Who knows? Velma. We were all wrong.
It's been a long time since Brad and I watched cartoons.
This person wants to know if Shaggy had an OnlyFans. Well, they didn't have OnlyFans back then, and if they did, no, he wouldn't have one, I'm afraid. Cody is
did,
Fred.
He wouldn't make a lot of money.
This person says Cody is Fred. This guy says you guys' lack of Scooby-Doo knowledge is making me sad. I watched Scooby-Doo, but it wasn't like it was my show.
Dude, I'm 56. It's been a long time since my kids watched Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, crying out loud. If I watched Scooby-Doo when I was 9, guys, that was 41 years ago. You think I remember all the details of Scooby-Doo? Every episode ended with an unmasking. This person thinks Tiffany Stratton should be Daphne. Well, there's definitely a lot of options. Definitely a lot of options. All right, if you want to give us a call, 618-762-3275 is the phone number, or the Zimbabwe line, as I like to call it. callinstudio.com/show/WOL. All right. This person says the Don Callis family has credibility. Okada's unified title. Kyle's a TNT champ. They put Kenny on the shelf. Yeah, they got upper mid-card credibility. I'm talking main event credibility. Understand? Like, just because a guy has a unified title, it's never pushed as like the top belt or almost. He never even defends it. It's virtually never defended. The TNT champ, I'll give you that one. Kyle is by far the biggest star currently in the Don Callis family. But you got to remember, the only reason that he got that championship match was, what was the match going to be? Whatever happened. Or no, actually, I think he was going to have the match. There was a story that it was supposed to be Wardlow, but then Wardlow got hurt. And I didn't believe that story for a second. We talked about it here on the show. And then Tony Khan later did, and Tony Khan never does stuff like this, but he flat out said that story was not true. It was not going to be Wardlow. So, and that didn't make any sense anyway, to headline a pay-per-view with Wardlow and Hangman.
But still, it's not too bad to have the
No, it's not bad.
the TNT champion, the international champion, the continental champion, potentially in the coming weeks the IWGP champion.
Well, if
it's
they
not like
get-
they have no credibility.
I didn't say they didn't have credibility. What I said was they need to have main event. If you got so many guys in this faction, and they're good guys, I think you need to have main event credibility, even if it's for a short period of time. You need to have the world champion. You know what I mean? You need to have, like, be the top heel group. Like, the thing with Don, he's a creep. I don't like to put the guy over. But Remember that guy used to come out and he'd get more heat than anybody on the show. But, like, he'd be on the show every couple of weeks or whatever. Like, he'd just disappear for long periods of time. And it was kind of like, is he the top heel manager or not? It was like it was up and down. Some weeks he was out there and it was like, and then other weeks he would just be gone. And then sometimes he's just on commentary. It's like, this is something where if you're building something this big, you got to go all in. After that, fine. You know, he's got the credibility of he's managed the world champion, et cetera, in this big faction. I don't know. I could be the only one.
He has managed the world champion.
He has, but this new Don Callis family faction, like when he came out on the stage and there's 85 guys, it's like, if you have that many guys, how do you not have the world champion? Right? I think he needs to get the world title. And I'm a big, I'm very bullish on Kyle Fletcher after not only how well he did in the match with Hangman, but a lot of people bought that show. So, I mean, I was pushing that a lot of people bought it, pointing out that, hey, I was right. It didn't die because WWE was on the same day on ESPN. But I think the bigger thing is the match was Hangman Page versus Kyle Fletcher. And, like, it was one of the most bought pay-per-views of the year. So you can't say that Fletcher has no credibility. He's seen as a big deal by these AEW fans. So, it's kind of like, let's do this. Let's do this thing. And, of course, he's the one that killed Kenny Omega. So they can do Kenny Omega.
That was Jungle Boy.
Fletcher that was years ago. It'll be a while before... there you go. Tama Tonga charges $10,000 on Cameo, and yours are only $20. Actually, mine are only $10. But there's no way he's charging $10,000 for a cameo, unless he just doesn't want to do cameos. Back in a moment. Observer Live. To shut down the phones. Didn't have time in this segment. We did have a caller from, I believe, Ireland on the international web caller line asking if the Judgment Day should turn babyface. And I don't know. I like them as a heel faction. I like them as a faction. Like, they're a heel faction. They don't like each other. Finn's like a little slimy little guy, and there are going to be people break off. Like, I think they're teasing. I really think they're teasing that Roxanne is going to be booted out of the Judgment Day when Liv comes back. But I think we might get a swerve.
They feel like an authentic tweener group, to be honest.
Yes, I like it. But I will say, with that said, that when they did that homecoming event on NXT, and they frickin' brought out Finn Balor in, like, his old gimmick with his old music as a babyface,
and it was
like,
awesome.
This guy is more over than anybody else on the entire show. He would be one of the top 5 most over people on the main roster doing this. But instead, he's just this silly guy in this group that's slimy. I like his character.
He stirs the pot. That's what
he's just a pot stirrer, as opposed to being like a top guy, which he came off as when he showed up in NXT that one day. So, funny how that works. Funny how sometimes in wrestling you change for... Like, a lot of times in wrestling, something should change, but people don't because they're dumb. They try to keep running with a pat hand. And then other times it's like, actually, you know what? You shouldn't change that one. Oh, we're going to do it anyway. Not as good? Don't matter. We changed it. Just weird. I guess that's life, right, Lance?
Often is, yes.
All right. We'll see you on Sunday. WrestlingObserver.com, everybody. Sign up today. We got 13,000, 14,000, 15,000, somewhere around there, podcasts at WrestlingObserver.com. That's $14.99 a month for everything. We got the video site, video.f4wonline.com, $9.99. And Apple and Spotify, both $9.99 as well. Get all the podcasts. So check it out, everybody. Lance and I and Craig will be up on Sunday talking Collision and Smackdown. It'll be a lot of fun. More stuff coming as well for subscribers. So check it out. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.